So thank you for coming, Stefania. Just to make life easier, I'm just gonna ask if you do answer questions. Just like unmute yourself, just because there's no one else here. Um, but yeah, so today we're doing a presentation on the college academics, and we're gonna talk a little bit about just like what that's gonna look like. And for you at Vanderbilt, they might have already talked to you, with your advisor. You might have already talked to an advisor, which I saw you did on the checklist. Um, but we're just going to talk a little bit about that breakdown. And then IV, just going to wait for V to come in. Thanks for coming, V. We are going to talk about college academics today, and this is the session 3 of Summer Bridge. So first, we're going to start off question of the day. Then we're going to do a quick assignment check-in. So for the questions that you ask and also the checklist, if you haven't done it yet, so we're actually going to extend it to you should have all the assignments done by the end of the last session. And what we're going to do is just go through again, like I said, the academic life presentation, and do some quick reflections, and then we're going to talk about your third assignment. So first things first, question of the day. What is your favorite condiment? You determine what a condiment is, but what is your favorite condiment? And again, please, since there's only 3 of us here, you can unmute yourself. What is your favorite condiment? So condiment is like ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. Olive branch is a good one. Salad dressings. So yeah, Kimberly, you like all of them? You don't have a favorite? It can be anything. Literally, it can be anything. Like if you like ketchup, you like mustard. If you like barbecue sauce, if you like ranch, if you like soy sauce, if you like uh, mayonnaise, like literally anything. The most is barbecue and spicy. Okay, and hot sauce. Yeah, I would say my favorite condiment is definitely hot sauce. Um, and again, we're gonna be moving on to check in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to exit this. Let's just look at the questions again. This. Oh, that's the one. So I think I answered some of those questions. Kimberly, thank you for filling that out. Thanks for filling that out. So we're gonna answer some of the questions from Kimberly. We're gonna do 2 or 3. So when you get the options to choose a housing plan, they are higher than the housing plan including on your award letter. So yeah, so it depends on what type of room that you're trying to get. So this is gonna be a breakdown when we do the social life, like life on campus, and that's actually gonna be on Thursday. But so depending on what type of housing you choose, it's gonna determine the cost. So a single, a double, a triple, a quad are all regular housing options, but some of them cost less or some of them cost more because they're either with more people or less people. Some schools also have options of force triples or force other spaces. A force triple is a room that's intended for 2 people, but they put 3 people in it. So if you have questions about the housing plan, definitely reach out to the housing office. Let's see. If most of your scholarships are not renewable, how will you pay for next year? So that's something that you would talk with the financial aid office, or you just continue to apply for scholarships. And again, that's something that you have to make sure you stay up on because again, not having enough money to pay for your schooling is not fun. Um, and then let's see, because you take community classes or classes at a community college over the summer, and have the credits account for your school. Absolutely. I actually recommend it if you can get it for really cheap or get it for free. Taking classes during the summer actually allows you to graduate a little bit earlier. Um, you can actually figure if you take like general education classes, those can help you get your degree earlier. And if you do enough summer courses, you can you can graduate earlier, so like a semester early. But again, that's up to you. That's up to your schedule. That's up to what you want to do. And then V, so we're gonna do three of these questions. How do you find a job in school? So they have student employment offices, or they also have a student employment website. So for your case, you would go to the Simmons student employment, and then they would have a listing of all the jobs. You would apply, you send them your resume, and you would work on trying to do the interview process and get a job. If you actually need help with that, make sure to contact your advisor over at your schools, specifically your academic advisor, because they can also help you. But then also, if you need advice career wise, they have career advisors as well on college campuses. So make sure to reach out to them. Where to buy cheaper books? That is a great question. So one option is renting books. You can actually rent used books for way cheaper than buying a brand new book. But if you want to buy cheaper books, you can always look on Amazon. You can always look on any other website like Barnes and Nobles. Um, you can look at any kind of online site, and if you actually look up the book title, they might actually have someone that has the PDF. So that's a way to avoid getting books. And then if you want to change your major, so that would be something you would talk to with your academic advisor. The first step would be making sure that you are on track in terms of your general education. If you need to switch a major, do a major that you already had classes in. But if you want to switch, you just talk to your advisor. They say okay or no, and then if they do say okay, then you would get a sheet that basically says you're okay to transfer your major, and then you would talk to an advisor who's in that other major. But it's actually pretty easy to change your major, especially when you're in your first or second year. Once you get a little bit further on, just because of the time and just because of the classes that you have to take, um, changing a major can be pretty tough. So if you want to do it, make sure to do it a little bit earlier. One of my friends changed their major like 4 times, so you can do it as many times as you want. And that is the assignment. So for the summer nudge checklist, I asked you to email me or send me a picture. Just make sure you keep that in your back pocket, because I want to make sure that everyone knows like these are the things you have to make sure you take care of. And I know there's been some issues with transferring your BPS email. Um, they might have taken that feature off specifically for BPS. Not sure why they would do that, but what I would recommend is seeing if you can find a way to transfer that storage or transfer that data to your email, or even change the receiving aspect of it. I probably would have to talk to someone in BPS to see why they removed that, but if I ever get an answer, I will make sure to let you all know. All right. So now let's go back to the presentation. And again, feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. Feel free to type in the chat if you have a question. I just want to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. So the academic life, right? What is college like? Before I actually get into it, and there's some things that are showcased on the right side of the screen. I just want you to give me your best answer for what you think college is like academically. And you can just type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. But like, what do you think college is like academically? Rigorous and challenging. Rigorous and more independent work. Okay. be what you have. I know you might be typing. The question is, what do you think college is like academically? If you wait, can. So yeah, definitely, it's a little bit more rigorous than high school. It is a little bit more challenging, again, depending on your major. Um, independently scheduled, yeah, for sure. And for Shayo, um, yeah, independent and scheduled. So yeah, so college on the first hand is way more independent than before. A lot more independent work. So again, your teachers are not going to be reminding you, hey, show up to class, hey, make sure to do your assignment. And that's going to be something that I'm going to be doing uh, just now. Like I'm just not going to make sure that I'm not going to tell you like exactly what you need to do. You just need to make sure you handle your work, because that's kind of how college works. They send you an email, they send you the syllabus, and you just got to follow it. And then definitely again, it's a little bit more rigorous than high school. Teachers do expect more because you're at a college level, and the main thing that you want to do is just if you are struggling or if you are having a difficult time, like make sure to reach out to your teacher, or make sure to reach out to someone who is a tutor. Those they can be like the best help if you if you are struggling, and there's going to be people there that you actually need to talk to if you do. And again, for those that are joining us now, we're talking about the college academic life. Make sure that you complete the first two assignments at least, by the end of the summer bridge program. We want to make sure everyone is on top of it. I will say, just to make sure, like if you aren't able to come to a meeting, you can always ask and be like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it today. And I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll put the video up. Diamond had a question. Can the professor say no when you ask for help? Technically, they shouldn't be able to. They can if they're like super tired, or they most likely what they'll say is, I don't have time right now, but if you want, we can schedule something, later this week or later in the day. So that's a good question. So just to go through, we're going to break down some aspects of the academic life in college, ranging from majors and minors, class requirements, the difference between high school and college, time management and academic supports. Before I move on, for those that just came in, the question of the day was, what is your favorite condiment? What's your favorite thing to eat with French fry, put on a sandwich, basically just whatever is your choice of condiment. And you can just answer that in the chat or you can answer yourself. So just understanding the difference, right? So the difference between high school and college. So course schedule, the first thing is you dictate your schedule. You can choose what classes you want to take, what time you want, and even what day. Um, there's also a period called add drop where you can take classes for like 2 weeks or a week and then be like, you know what, I don't really like this class. I'm just gonna drop it. I don't want to take it anymore. But again, you can dictate your schedule. And just to give you an example, so for me, my freshman year, I had two classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I had three classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But then by the time I got to my senior year, I had like two classes or three classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I had two classes on Tuesdays, four classes on Thursdays, one class, oh no, two classes on Monday, three classes on Wednesday, and then I had no classes on Friday. So I had every week I had a 3 day weekend. So again, you can kind of choose your schedule. I had a friend who went to Suffolk, and she actually never had a Friday class throughout her whole 4 years at Suffolk. So again, you can figure out what classes you want. You figure out what fits in your schedule. The biggest thing is again is that it's your doing, so you know yourself the best. Any comments or questions about classes and picking classes? No, it's all good. So the next work is classwork. Again, you have to make sure you're on top of your assignments. They're usually going to be through the academic portal. They are also going to use the syllabus. So again, a big thing is you want to make sure that you read the syllabus. Make sure that you have a copy of it, whether it be in Google Drive or just a hard copy. Professors sometimes will give reminders throughout the week, but most often they'll just tell you to look at the syllabus if you need any, if you have any questions or any concerns. A big thing is just making sure you're on top of the syllabus. And then finally, the last thing that I have here is teacher-student relationships. Similar to high school, having a good relationship with your teacher is important, but specifically in college, having a good relationship with your professor is super important. It can be the difference between, an A and an A minus. It can be the difference between even a B minus and like an A minus. You should always connect with your professors. Office hours are super important. Even if you just go in to talk to them and just chat, they're gonna really appreciate it, and they're gonna really like what like you're thinking about and what you want to discuss. And again, the biggest thing is classroom size must be much bigger than what you're used to. So just for my understanding, what's the most amount of people that you guys had in one classroom and for an actual class that you take it? So you can just type in the chat or you can unmute yourself. What's the
About
most
20,
amount?
29.
2029. Okay. I see 20 in the chat. Again, the question is like what's the most amount of people you had in a class? And again, you could just guess. You can be like, I don't know, maybe around this, but 20, 25-ish. Okay. You said 20, 20, 29, so maybe 30. Again, you can just type in the chat or you can unmute yourself. I think in BPS, the range is about 20 to 25. Some even have 30, especially with some of the bigger schools. The most amount of students that I've had in a class is, I want to say 150. Yeah, about 150. So it's a big lecture hall. There's one professor, the seats are usually filled, but that's why, going to office hours are important. Like making sure that the teacher knows your face and even knows your name. That can be the difference in grades. And again, I'll give you an example. I had a class that I took my junior year. It was a African studies class. We had the teacher who was pretty tough when it comes to grading and then comes to exams. And both of the exams that I got, I think I got like a B total, like a B average on them. But he actually ended up giving me an A just because I went to office hours. I asked questions in class. And if you're a little bit shy, that's okay. They'll try to make it so that you're as comfortable as possible. But like I mentioned, the biggest thing is just making sure your teacher knows who you are, and you have that good relationship with them. Any questions about that or any comments about that? If not, I can just move on to this next slide.
How often can you change your major?
Hmm.
Or is it not a good idea to constantly change majors?
So you can change your major honestly as many times as you want. A number that I would say that would be, maybe too much is like more than 7. Because if you're constantly changing, then your class is going to be a little bit difficult. It's going to be a little bit difficult to figure out like what credits you need to graduate. But you can change your major as many times as you want if you feel like it's important. Um, And that's a great segue into, the space of picking a major. So if you already have, just understand that the major is the focus of most of your classes. Make sure to pick, classes to take that align with your major, while also, while also taking general education classes. If you're undecided, that is okay. I went undecided, and I think I was able to graduate, so we're good on that. And if you are undecided, just take mostly general education classes and maybe talk with your classmates about what they're interested in. And it's no typo, that's okay. And then the next steps in terms of picking a major is like think about what you want to continue to study, and even look at classes that align with what you liked in high school. So let's say like you really like, your economics class, or let's say you really like your history class. If you haven't picked a major already, maybe take a few history classes or economics classes, or classes that you just really enjoyed, and just see what subjects you can transfer that in. For all of you, you're going to schools that have a wide variety of majors. So like if you want to pick something to study that you never studied before, you can take a class in that. If you want to go into something that you know like really well, you can also go into that. But picking a major can be a really fun process. It really allows you to figure out like what you enjoy and what you're good at. So picking a major is a big step. And then this one is a little bit wordy, so I'm going to try to move through this pretty quick. So we're going to talk a little bit about credits. So in every college, so schools use credits as a way to determine what you need to do in order to graduate, right? So first is general education. Most of your colleges will probably take a number of general education classes. They really depend on, and I'll get to that question in a second, Diamond. It really depends on the school, but classes typically range from credits from 1 credit, 3 credits, 2 credits, 5 credits, and some classes are even 6 credits. The way they break it down by school is, a class with a lab might be, the class itself might be 4 credits, but the lab might be 1 credit. So if you do the math, that's just 5 credits. Um, if you're taking a class that's just, a seminar or once a week, that might be 1 credit. But again, a lot of your schools will have that breakdown already, and then your schools will determine what is baseline credit. And then Diamond, going up to your question. So standard classes are about 3 to 4 credits, and most schools require about 60 to 160 total credits to complete your major or to complete your degree, and that's over 4 years. So it really depends on the school, but it can be ranging from 60 to 160 credits to complete your degree. For me, when I was in undergrad, we needed a total of about 120 credits, and our classes were typically 3 credit classes, 4 credit classes, and 5 credit classes. So again, you can figure out your schedule, you can see what classes you need to take, but that's kind of how the credit system works. Um, Anyone have any other questions about credits in general education before I move on to majors and minors? Just give me a yes or no. If you don't, just type no. That'll make my life super easy. Okay, I can go to the next one. Cool. So majors and minors. So your major will require to complete a certain amount of credits to graduate with your particular major. So like I just said, general education classes count for a specific amount of credits, but your major will also count to a specific amount of credits. So it really depends on what you need in terms of what your major is. So I have some examples right here. So an English major at UMass Boston is 10 credits minimum. So, or 10 courses minimum. So you need to take a minimum of 10 courses, and that's a total of 32 credits. So again, the breakdown is depending on the classes. So, UMass Boston might have a different credit system, but you need to take at least 10 courses, and those 10 courses at minimum needs to be at least 32 credits. For minors, they require less credits slash classes, but you still need to complete the proper credits in order to graduate with that specific minor, if that makes sense. So again, the example down here is a biology major versus a biology minor. So for the major at UMass Boston, you need about 16 total classes for your major, whereas the minor is only about 6 classes for the major. So to go over that just one more time, so majors, they require a certain amount of credits on top of your general education. And then a minor is just less credits, but you still have that minor when you graduate if you complete the right courses. So those examples are easy way to kind of understand that. But and then this last piece, AP classes and summer courses. So a way to get ahead of your graduation credits, even before you even go to college, is your AP scores. I know you've already finished. Some of you may have already finished the AP exams. I don't know if they already did that yet, but with the AP exams, if you get a high score, you can actually get credits off of your graduation requirement because colleges will take that as credits in their curriculum. So the main ones that they usually take is a math, a science, a English. Some schools do take a history, and some schools will take a language. So taking your APs and getting fours, fives, some schools even take threes. If you're able to get a high score, you can get those credits before you even go to college. Going back to that point made earlier, taking summer courses. So if you take a course at a school during the summer, you can get credits for that. You can take them at a local college. You can do community college as long as they meet the requirements for a college level course. So again, you could take summer classes at your school or at another college, but if you do take summer courses, you actually you can graduate earlier if you take enough. And then overloading your schedule. So this, I put a lot of asterisks because you can technically take more classes than required. A lot of schools require you to take 5 classes. Some will take 4, some will take 6. But you can overload your schedule. So if a school is like, hey, we need you to take 5 classes throughout each semester just to make sure that you finish, you could take 6. You can even take 7. But again, that's up to you. I do not recommend it unless it's a completely last minute option, but you can overload your classes. So then this last piece right here is talking about time management and support. You want to figure out your own schedule, right? Figure out a schedule that can help you stay on track. Use a planner / reminders. We all have cell phones. You can create a calendar in your cell phone. You can have them set reminders for you. And even using a physical planner can be something that helps you stay on track, helps you remember which homework assignments is due when, which classes that you have due when. And again, just going back to what college is like, it's very independent. So if you are, handling things on yourself, you want to make sure you're able to go to class on time. You want to make sure you're getting those assignments on time. This next one is super important. Mark out times for work and play. So, make sure that you have your own set schedule for when you want to do work and when you want to just make sure you're relaxing and having fun for yourself. Obviously, like you can relax on the weekends, you might cram on Sunday to do homework, but if you do it throughout the week, and most classes aren't back to back, so like a class will be on Monday, then it'll meet on Wednesday, you have that time in between Monday and Wednesday to do that homework. So then you can also use that time to take a rest from that class, go on a walk, do something that's going to help you reset. But just make sure to mark out those times for when you need to do work and when you need to have fun. And then also ask for help when needed. There's a bunch of resources on college campuses. If you are struggling, there's tutoring services, there's peer mentoring, there's your academic advisor, there's your professors. There's so many people on campus for you to help, for you that you can use to help. You just need to make sure that you actually ask. And again, that's a hard skill that like people don't really have, and people struggle with. But as long as you know when you need to ask and are able to recognize that, just make sure to take your pride down a little bit and just ask when you need it. I even need to work on that too. So I'm in there with you. This last piece is just about, again, the support services, student support services on campus. Again, there's tutoring centers, office hours, advising hours. There's also diversity offices if you need help in other areas. They also have, counseling. So like mental health counseling and counselors, if you need help, more on a emotional or social like space. So make sure you reach out to those people. And then also on some college campuses, they will have TRIO offices and student support services specifically that work with TRIO. So utilizing that TRIO network can really be helpful, especially to make you feel comfortable with going onto campus or in a space class. And again, all these services are available online as well. So if your schools are not having students on campus or you're commuting, you'll still be able to have access to these offices and these supports. So this is going to be a part where I've been talking a lot, so I need you guys to talk a little bit. So the next is just an activity. We're going to do some reflections. On this next slide, just write down some of your worries, excitements, and general reflections about college. We do have 2 questions just to help get started. But I'm gonna give you 5 minutes um, just to type in what are some of your worries, excitements, general reflections about college, and then the last question is you don't have to type that out this one, but what are some classes that you are thinking of taking? So the main question is what are some of your worries, excitements, general reflections about college, and then maybe one or two classes you're thinking of taking. I'm gonna
Wait,
give
I
you
have a
5
question.
minutes. Yeah, what's up?
Is it possible for you to take like a major and not double minor? Like you mind two different things?
Yeah. So as long as you have space in your schedule, you can basically mix and match whatever you want. You could double major, you can double minor, you can triple major. That's kind of wild, but if you have it your space, you can do that. But yeah, if you wanted to take 2 minors instead of a double major, you could do that. So I'm gonna just give you five. Actually, I'm gonna give you like 7 minutes just to go over some of your worries, excitements, and general reflections about college. If you're gonna double major, you might as well get a PhD. I mean, you could. That's a good point, but yeah, double majoring is a lot of work, but a lot of students do it. So it's you'll see it a lot on college campuses. So again, I'm gonna give you 7 minutes starting now. What are some of your worries, excitements, and general reflections about college? And I'll just say, hey, time is up once you guys are done. Then you can type it in the chat once you're finished. Just make sure that you have something to write down. And feel free to type out whatever. Like it doesn't have to be just one thing. If you want to type out a bunch, you can do that. Um, but yeah, just make sure you're just typing whatever you feel. Again, it's gonna be a little activity, so feel free to share whatever. And again, I see a lot of worries there, but like maybe what's something that you guys are excited about college. I think that it's an exciting time in in school and being at college, but like what are something that you're excited about? Reflection, don't mess it up. Food diamond? You gotta give me more than that. Stefani, that is a really good one living in a new city. It's gonna be very exciting being in a new space. Keep typing. Um, you're not limited to just one answer. You can type as much as you want. Um, but you have about 3 minutes left. But yeah, just want to get some more worries, excitements, and general reflections about college. University, yeah. That's another good thing. And I'll go over all of these more specifically once we get to the end. Uh, once we get to the end of the. Worry about diversity too. So feel free to type in, your own stuff as well. If you are more comfortable, please feel free to type a direct message to me. You share to the full class session. What are some worries, excitements, and general reflections that you have about college? And again, think about, you don't have to type it, but think about what classes you're thinking of taking, or even like thinking about what major you want to do. You have about 45 seconds left. Seconds. All right. Well, thank you guys for participating in that. Just going through real quick. I just want to see some general stuff. Um, I think the biggest worry is just keeping up with the work. And again, I think if you just keep that time management and being in and focus on staying in class and focus on trying to get that work done, you guys are going to be okay with that. You've been able to manage your workload in high school, and I know college is a little bit more academically focused, but if you're able to, apply yourself, you should be good. Excited about being away from home. I see a few of those. Worry about, not taking enough classes. These are conversations that you can have with me, but these are also conversations that you can have with people on your campus. You just want to make sure that, you have support systems that you are able to reach out to and able to connect with when you actually are on a college campus. So, in that way, reaching out to your academic advisor, reaching out to your financial aid advisor, reaching out to student support services, you'll be able to take care of any situations. Diamond feels like he's good. Love to hear it. Yeah, being, depending on your major, you might be a little bit busier than other students, but again, you'll be able to find time to socialize. And like I said, try to make time for yourself. Try to spread out your work and try to spread out that time so that you're able to, have time for studying, but also have time for socializing. Again, yeah, I think the big piece is about being responsible for yourself. It is a big transition from high school where you're like had to ask to go to the bathroom, and now they're like, all right, you got to figure out for yourself. That is a big transition, but again, if you advocate for yourself and just step out of your comfort zone, like that's super important. Yeah, again, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for taking the time to participate in that activity. So this last slide is just, or second to last slide, is just about your assignment. So the assignment is number 3. You're going to create a list of classes that you would like to take during your first semester. Again, all the information is going to be on the website, so just make sure to check it. It has all the information and all the steps that you need in terms of like the actual assignment on the web page. So if you go to the website, the Upward Bound website that I made for the summer program or the summer bridge program, you go to assignments and then click assignment 3. It should take you to a link to a Google Sheet, and they should have a little template up there. But that's going to be your next assignment. And as always, if you have any questions or you have anything that you want to ask, feel free to reach out to me through text, you can call me, or you can send me an email address. It's going to be a little bit easier now just through email. So if you're able to send me an email, please get in the habit of doing so because you're not going to be able to necessarily text your professors. But yeah, just if you need me, just reach out. I'm going to show you real quick how to get to the assignment one last time. And then I will see you all on Thursday after we finish this up. So again, you go to the main page, you click on assignments, you scroll down, should be right here. And all the steps and all the ways that you complete it is going to be on the actual assignment page. So I'm going to stop my share. Anyone else have any comments or final questions about this program, about the session today? I see a question in the chat. Forget the major that you are. It should be on your acceptance letter. But if you did forget, you can reach out to the admissions office and ask them what is your major.
For the homework assignment, are we supposed to set our classroom within one column, or do we have like the whole row of A, B, C, D to do it all?
So yeah, so you'll see if you open up the Google Sheet. I already set it up so it can be. I think it's like 6 classes. You only need to do 5. But if your school does require you to do 6, like fill that out. But it says like the date, the times, and then some other stuff. But you'll have all the space. And one big thing is like make sure you choose a different sheet. So like write your name at the bottom, and then I can go back and look at it. But it's pretty self-explanatory once you actually get on the website. But just make sure you finish that by next week. I think I'm gonna just make all the homework assignments due the following week, so you can have some time throughout the week to do it. But so it'll be due on session 5. But yeah, any other questions? Anything else? Well, if not, thank you all for coming. Please let me know if you have any other questions or comments, and please reach out to me. And, if you do, next week we're going to be doing, or next session we're going to be having a student panel with those students that we talked to a little bit earlier. But this one's going to be way more informal, so you guys can just ask them whatever you want, like, college life and things like that. So, looking forward to seeing you all there, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good one, everybody.